Hey, my loves. So I want to. This is not about the girls. This is not about the girl. Y'all know I normally talk about the girls, but they not act. So far they're not acting up. But I want to talk about the Demi Lovato documentary, and I'm going to. I just hit myself with this comb. I'm going to make sure that I keep it short and sweet and just highlight the main points because I try to keep it under 10 minutes, so y'all don't be just listening to me talk. So I'm gonna preface this by saying this is a spoiler. So if you are gonna watch it, please, please, please go watch it. First of all, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Then secondly, if you're going to watch it and you don't want any spoilers, I would say go watch it, then come back and you can just hear me talk about the review. And also I want to preface this by saying there was a time where I was spit on Demi Lovato's grave. Like, I swear I did not. And I'm very transparent. I did not fuck with Demi Lovato. If y'all went through my tweets like years and years ago, you would see me say, I don't like Demi Lovato, but I'm only human and I can change my mind. Once you find out the love for somebody, I love and adore Demi Lovato. So, let's get into it. So the first episode, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. The first episode, I think it's a docu-series, but I don't know how many episodes it's going to be. But regardless, so she opens up with talking about how, the pressure of pretty much being a celebrity, being sober. She was sober for 6 years. And then during her tour, she was just like, you know what? I'm not happy. And sure enough, she cracked up in a bottle of wine. It was all downhill from there. So the first episode was, talking about all that. And then she goes into, it ends with, of course, her overdose. Her overdose happened back in 2018. And she got drunk one night and she went to her room, called her dealer, her old dealer. Now, she ran into her dealer. Like I said, you got to watch it for more detail. But she, hit up her old dealer that she already was in cahoots with prior to the actual overdose. So, the dealer comes and, she says her go-to drug was Coke and Xanax. She says she likes the rage and then she likes the mellow. Like that, she's like, it's the perfect balance. So he's like, nah, I ain't got no Xans or no Coke, but I got everything else. So of course she's like, okay, well, what you got? So he in replace of that, I got some coke and some crack and heroin. So Demi was like, fuck it. Give it here. So then she chased the crack and heroin one night with Molly. Actually, no, let me back up. Since one night he didn't have the coke and the Xanax, so she got onto crack and heroin. So then a couple of weeks later after that, or maybe a couple of days later, I'm not really sure, she was like, hey, yo, come through. I need my crack and heroin now. So literally, as she's doing the crack and heroin, she chased the crack and heroin with, like I said, this is a new night. The night she overdosed, she chased her crack and heroin with Molly, meth, cocaine, weed, and alcohol. That alone, like she said, that alone should have killed me. That alone should have killed me. And that's so crazy that she was on that much. That literally, and I'm no doctor, but that should have literally taken her out the game. But that's not all. So then the episode is like wrapping up. This is the second episode, by the way. So it's wrapping up, and she's like, she wakes up in the hospital. Everybody's panicked. She literally, like, they said that she had a tube to filter out her blood. She had a tube to go in her neck that was sewn. They had to sew that bitch in her neck, my nigga. I'm not over exaggerating. Go watch it if you don't believe me. They had to sew this tube into her neck so that her blood can drain out of the tube, clean out, and go right back into another hole in her neck. And I'm like, the fact that all of that was needed terrifies me. Like, and that, like, one of my fears is being so doped out that I'm not coherent. You know what I mean? I smoke weed here and there. I'll drink, but none of that that's why you couldn't pay me to do coke. You couldn't pay me to do crack. And I know you're saying, like, never say never, but at the end of the day, I'm too terrified for it. So, but going back to Demi, she's like, she wakes up in a hospital. She's like, her mama's right there. And she like, what the hell happened, mama? She like, baby, you kind of overdosed. And so Demi, like, her reaction, they said, was so shocking. She was just like, oh my God. She was like, damn, for real? So, fast forward, she had, in the midst of this overdose, she had, I think, 2 strokes and a heart attack in the midst of this overdose. So from the strokes and the heart attack, she has some brain damage. She has blind spots in her vision. And oh God, what's the other one? She has like potential organ failures. Like she like her organs are not operating the same way. And it's deep because, like I said, Demi, on one hand, you could say, Demi, you're just going through basic white people shit. But I feel like fame is a fickle thing. And I feel, this is from what I can gather, everybody is not meant for the fame part. If she's a very, very talented person. Very talented. But again, like, sometimes the fame can just get into your mental. Oh, forgot to tell you. Demi, in the midst of all of that overdose, so she wakes up and, the doctor's like, hey, did you have consensual sex the night of your overdose? So she's like, I vaguely remember the drug dealer being on top of me, but I don't know exactly if I gave consent. So she's like, she tells the doctor, she's like, yeah, I had consensual sex. And then she realized, like, a couple of weeks later, she's like, no, I was in no way, shape, or form coherent enough to give consent. She's like, there was no possible way on this green earth that I could have gave consent. So not only did she have all those issues, not only did she overdose, but she was, touched inappropriately. So it's like, Demi, my heart goes out to you. And at some point it's like, I hope she's okay, because it's a lot. And then for you to sit here and, like, keep overdosing, or keep relapsing, it's like she has to be dealing with some very deep mental issues, because it's like I keep overdosing, I'm letting everybody down, I'm letting my fans down, I'm letting my friends down, I'm letting da 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 da. And I know I can, like, because I know she's hurting. But please, 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 I'm gonna end this by saying, be careful, be safe, be well. Demi, I'm praying for you if you were to ever see this. And I think that the pressure can be real, really real. So, yeah. Please, and also, please go and watch it. If you have not watched it, I hope this convinced you to watch it, because it's deep. It's deep. I was at work damn near about to bawl my eyes out, because I'm like, shit.